All right. Welcome to Black Swan Revelations. My name is Shane. Today, we're going to be talking about trains. Now, out of the gate, I have to be careful. There is a chance that this video can get banned. Small chance. But we'll see. Apparently, there's certain things that you can't talk about on YouTube. So this is why I had to codify my message a little bit. I couldn't talk too much about it, but now that you're on here and you watch this, if it gets blocked or whatever afterwards, then so be it. I can just take the video down. But until then, at least we get to watch it live, and then you guys can comment and all this kind of stuff. And then after the video's over, the comments will probably be erased, because that's the idea behind live, is the comments usually stay inside and then afterwards it's over, right? So that's why you go on live. All right, so let me just turn down this music here a little bit. So funny. I really have to watch 1984 again. I really do. Because it feels like this is 2024. But it feels like we're in 1984 right now. That you have to kind of pat yourself down. You have to show everything. Your book, your agenda, whatever, show it before the screen. Make sure everything's cool, and then you can proceed. If you haven't watched 1984, you got to check it out. The old version. I never watched the new one with, who was it? Is it William Hurt? The new one? Anyways. The other day, I took the electric bike out to go for a little cruise down to the river. I want to have a look at the river, maybe make a little video, like the Watchman River, and just sit and think, because there's a nice little picnic table by the river, and you could actually just listen to audio books or whatever. That's usually what I do. And I just think. And sometimes when you go down the pathway, there's a train track that stops you and you have to wait till the train goes by. And sometimes there's a few cars, sometimes there's dozens, sometimes it feels like there's hundreds of cars. And this particular day, there was a strange train. The engine was fine, but the cargo seemed different. And it caught me off guard because I hadn't seen these types of cars before. And it was weird because there was nothing inside these. The only thing I could think of is these things look like cages. And there was a lot of them. I was like, why are these cars all empty and you can barely see inside, because they just had some slots in them? And then I went on the internet and I'm like, what kind of trains or what kind of cars are these? Any guess in the comment section as to what kind of train cars these were? Let's see here. Who's here tonight? Who's on? Not So Random is on. Let's see. Who else? Got a few other people probably watching from your TV. I'd be curious to know, if you're not watching this on TV, maybe you can give a thumbs up. Not much. We're just starting. So you came at probably the perfect time. Exactly. I had to codify this video because Big Brother's watching, and I didn't want this video to get taken down right away. I wanted for at least you guys to see this video, and then I could share my thoughts, and then who knows what happens with the video. That's an interesting question. I have questions of why a bunch of billionaires are being knocked off lately. Seems like some want a seat at the table. You, my friend, have been watching too much of John Wick. But you have an interesting point. Cattle cars converted to sheeple cars. Yeah, sheeple. I never heard that before. Sleeper cells. Yep. Watching with my not-so-random wife. Awesome. Red October is almost here. Yeah, FEMA. It's interesting, right? Right, so I want to show you, after I saw these trains go by, or this train with all these cars go by, I decided to go on the website just to have a look around and look at what I found. Let me see if you guys can see this. Can you see this? Let me make it full screen here. So again, this is probably nothing new for you guys, but I'm new to this conspiracy stuff. I really am. So look at these. I'm trying to show you which ones they were like. It's kind of like this one here, but that's not it. Let me see if I can find them here. It's interesting that FEMA is like all over the place here. You know, with all their storage units and all this kind of stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. It's kind of like this one here, the FEMA train. It looked very similar to that, and then I would say more similar to these auto tracks. And then someone said FEMA trains ready, shackles included. All kinds of stuff going on here. So I want to play a video about what these auto tracks are about, and then we'll have a conversation about it. So let me just get rid of that background, and let's have a listen. Let's have a listen to what these things are. And the first thing I want you to do is just tell me if this doesn't give you a chill. I'm not gonna lead you on or anything like that. I just want you to just watch this video, and I'll pause it. And I want you to share in the comments what's the first thing you think about when you see these cars.
Now, for the first time in decades, there is an innovation that provides real economics in the transportation of automobiles. It's AutoMax, introduced by the Greenbrier Companies, a leading supplier of transportation equipment and services in North America. AutoMax is an all-new rail car designed exclusively for transporting current and future vehicle mixes. The three major advantages of AutoMax's exclusive two-unit articulated design are its increased load factor, its flexibility to be configured for either tri-level or bi-level service, and its security features. AutoMax is the only freight car that can carry sport utility vehicles, pickups, or minivans in a tri-level configuration. Because the A deck of the car is a depressed well design, AutoMax can carry up to 22 sport utility vehicles per car, an average of 12 more than a traditional multi-level type rail car. Up to 24 mid-size vehicles can also be accommodated in AutoMax. These and other load mix variations can translate to approximately 1,000 vehicles per 6,000 feet of train. And because AutoMax can be converted to several configurations, including bi-level, there's no more second-guessing about which type of multi-level cars you'll need in the years ahead. With adjustable decks, any future automotive designs and market mix can be accommodated. And currently, virtually all vehicles out of ports or mixing centers can be carried in a tri-level configuration. The result of AutoMax's increased load factor and maximum flexibility is improved cost effectiveness for every delivery. AutoMax is designed to offer the most secure delivery of vehicles available by rail car today. The car's super strong, vault-like sides are constructed of continuous 11-gauge sheet steel. The doors are made of an extra tough composite material with lockable bars to help keep uninvited intruders outside the car. Access to the roof is prevented because ladders on Automax are inside the doors. Brakeman ladders on the car's exterior feature only 5 steps, also preventing roof access. Automobile inventories represent substantial investments, while today's consumers are also more demanding than ever. It's critical that deliveries arrive at their destinations in prime condition. That's why Automax has been designed with a number of features created to ensure that each vehicle looks like it did when it came off the assembly line, even after hundreds or thousands of miles of rail transport. Automax's shorter wheelbase, combined with the car's articulated design and premium trucks, ensure improved stability and a smoother ride. That shorter wheelbase and premium trucks virtually eliminate truck hunting. While much like articulated double-stack cars, Automax curves better than conventional bi- or tri-level equipment and reduces in-train slack action for a better ride. Our electronically controlled, or ECP brake option, virtually eliminates damage from in-train forces and slack action, providing an average 40% shorter stopping distance than conventional trains. Each car is better sealed against adverse environmental influences, such as moisture and airborne contaminants. A wider interior increases door edge clearance, even on full-size trucks. All chocking options are available. Manufactured at Greenbrier's Gunderson facilities in Portland, Oregon, Automax is the state-of-the-art method for delivering vehicles by rail car today. Greenbrier's Gunderson, Trenton Works, Gunderson Concoreo team has earned a reputation for industry leadership in engineering design, quality construction, and on-time delivery. Automax is the latest innovative example of that well-deserved reputation. Automax, a totally new multi-level rail car that lets you maximize profits, helping you deliver vehicles in showroom condition, on time, every time.
Well, isn't that interesting? When you watch a video like that, if you were to insert people, anytime they talk about getting the cars from one point to another safely, soundly, you think about it, they're trying to design a train, or they have designed it already, that is so smooth when it goes around corners. Why would you care about that with cars? Why would you care about that when they already have suspension, shocks, everything? Like, seriously? If you see the walls inside, they all have bars all the way down as far as you can see. So basically the idea would be to handcuff people all the way down, 3 layers deep. It wouldn't be hard to do that. And I saw a whole bunch of these headed to the west. They were coming from the east going west. There's a lot of them. Like, why would you need all those? I guess people are buying so many cars that they need to be in these containers. Like, that's the best way to do it. Like, 11 gauge steel, you're not shooting through those. You're not. So then you have to think, who would be shooting at these trains as they're going by from city to city? Well, most likely relatives that had their family abducted and put in these trains. You can't climb on these trains. It's almost impossible to climb on the trains. And you can't go on the roof because they're designed to scrape against a tunnel. That's what they're designed to do, that you can actually scrape the thin layer off the top of these trains and nothing happens below it. I've never heard of that before. Usually you try and protect the trains, but why would you need to have the trains go so close to the roof of these tunnels? Well, you got to scrape people off that are on top trying to get in to rescue their family members. And I know as I'm saying it, I'm like, this sounds pretty conspiracy-ish. But you have to understand there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipes when we're talking about the election, we're talking about wars, rumors of wars, all kinds of stuff. And then you get Trump. And again, I've read all of Trump's books. I know the guy. From the perspective of when he says something, he usually means it. If he says something like, I would end the war in Ukraine tomorrow, whether or not you believe it doesn't matter. He believes it. And whether or not you like him or don't like him or whatever, he was shot at, left for dead. You can't tell me that the people in the crowd in Butler didn't think that Trump was dead when he got shot and fell down and they tackled him. How do I know this? Because Trump thought he was dead. So he realized it's just his ear, and his security thought he was shot somewhere else because there was so much blood. They thought he was dead. And the crowd thought he was dead until he stood up and then he pumped his fist into the crowd. I'm just saying, do that to a person a couple of times and they're going to be a little bit on edge. They're going to be looking at the rule books a little bit different. Now that it's almost like, if you've ever watched the movie The Matrix, Neo killed Agent Smith. Killed him. And then when Agent Smith came back in Matrix Reloaded, he said, I killed you, Mr. Anderson. I watched you die with some satisfaction. But then something changed, something that he couldn't explain and was impossible. But then once he knew the rules, he understood it, he knew that he couldn't submit to all the rules and regulations of the Matrix. He was unplugged. So imagine somebody like Trump understanding the rules now, because it's like, oh, so it's okay to threaten me with prison for 4 years. It's okay to come after my family. It's okay to try and wreck the reputation of my family. It's okay to put me in court instead of going out to rallies. It's okay to shoot me. Don't think he isn't taking notes. Because in his book, The Art of the Deal, the idea is somebody comes at you, you go at them 10 times. Why? So that they don't do it again. Just because you watched Donald Trump on Dr. Phil and Dr. Phil said, promise me you're not going to avenge yourself. The answer that Trump gave was, anybody in my situation would have the right to avenge himself. He didn't say he wouldn't. He just said that anybody in his situation would have the right to avenge themselves. And then at the end of the RNC, he plays Jack Ryan. What was the movie? Sum of All Fears. He was playing an opera song that was played at the end of Sum of All Fears when the Russian president And the American president took the CIA and the KGB, and they went after their enemies. The Russian went after their enemies in Russia, and the United States went after the enemies in the United States, the ones that came after the US president and the ones that came after the Russian president, because they were trying to get them to fight each other. It's actually not a bad show. I should watch it again. But at the end, the two presidents were signing a peace declaration while their enemies were being killed to this music that was playing at Donald Trump's rally. They even hired that opera guy that sang that song. They brought him there to the rally in person, and I believe it was a warning shot. And then you got all these trains going by. Sure, okay, they're for cars. Okay. 11 gauge steel, bulletproof steel. They go around corners so smooth because you don't want to make the passengers sick. You want nice ventilation so there's no airborne. What does that tell you? In case there's some kind of fallout. You don't want to get your passengers sick. You got to protect your content, protect your shipment from point A to point B. I don't know how else you can look at that. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, let's just say they're not going that direction. They're like, no, Shane, no, this is too conspiracy. The government would never assemble people and put them in camps. They would never do that. That is against our freedom. They would never do that kind of stuff. Really? So you don't think after Pearl Harbor, you don't think 136,000 Japanese Americans, you don't think they got rounded up with extreme prejudice? You don't think that happened? You don't think that's in the history books of the United States of America? Wouldn't surprise me if we did it here in Canada. So the idea of rounding up people is not foreign to the United States of America, nor is it to Europe. Germany, for example, was famous for putting people in trains, moving them from one place to another. Trains are going to be a big deal in the future. Because if you can imagine all the other infrastructure being destroyed, roads, bridges, the safest way to travel would be by train, especially if you're a passenger. What's interesting, people always say I'm crazy. That's okay. One of my first couple of videos was talking about President Zelensky on here. And I just explained, hey, isn't this kind of weird that you have a comedian that's playing the piano with his wah, and all of a sudden he becomes the president of Ukraine? And he wrote the script, We the People, and directed it and acted in it and everything, and won an award, and decided this makes sense to me, that now that I wrote the script, this makes sense for me to become the president of Ukraine. And then he dissolved parliament when he first came into power. He called a snap election. He said, you have 30 days. 30 days. And then he dissolved the two main political powers that were leaning towards Russia. Because you got to understand, some of the areas in the east of Ukraine, 80% speak Russian. Not everybody speaks Ukrainian in Ukraine. I'm not trying to defend. I'm just telling you what's going on. That there's a lot of people that speak Russian and Ukrainian in Ukraine. But Zelensky did a snap election and then won a majority and dissolved two political parties, and he was the only major political party in Ukraine. I'm going somewhere with this. You gotta let me finish my monologue. After he dissolved the two political parties, he brought in his media team to take over his political party. It's his media company. So they're good at creating sound bites, interviews, staging interviews, making sure the camera is just right. And where did he do one of his major interviews? In a subway station. Why? Because virtually all the railways were were intact, meaning there was very little damage. If there was any damage to the railways, it was taken care of immediately. But you got to think about it for a second. You just have to sit down, take your shoes and socks off, and sit down and just scratch your head a little bit and go, okay, Russia's coming into Ukraine. Why didn't they take out all the railways? At least the majority of them. Oh, humanitarian reasons they didn't? Oh, so they could put people on trains and send them to the east, to Poland? Oh, okay. So they didn't want to take out any trains. In World War II, that would be considered a major win if you could take out the trains and bridges. That's just common sense. If you're at war, take out the bridges first, take out the trains, and you stop the food supply. Just read The Art of War. And it's over. But they didn't do that. People are allowed to go all over the place. I'm not saying that the railways didn't get hit every once in a while, because they probably did. But they repaired it in record time. And the conductor of one of the railways had no idea that they were at war against Russia. No idea. It was business as usual. So I don't know what's going on over there. Crazy stuff. Point is, trains are a big deal. Warren Buffett does not invest in technology as in electric cars, chips from Congo, iPhones, AI, zero. What does he invest in? Trains, the majority. Like, he's got a lot of money in owning trains. Why? He says they're way better than trucks for transportation. Way easier. And I have to agree with him. But again, when you go back to the footage that we just watched, they're making these things so streamlined for cars, triple layers, so thick on the outside, 11 gauge, you're not getting in. And you're not getting out. The ladders are on the inside. They're not on the outside, meaning you can't climb up. You can't jump on there. Can't do it. Something is afoot, my friend. Something is afoot. And you think about it, what are we, almost September? Like, we're almost 60 days away from an election. You can say civil war in some ways, because both parties aren't going to like the results. You think the Republicans are going to accept Kamala Harris as the president of the United States? You think they're just going to just roll over? You think the Democrats are going to accept Donald Trump as the 47th president when they've already tried to? Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not fair. It's not fair to say that the Democrats tried to take out Donald Trump. So I reserve the right to not say that it was them. So I got to be careful here. However, Joe Biden didn't get shot at. Trump did. And then when that didn't go through, Joe Biden is replaced by a clone or two clones or three. Who knows what's going on there? I've never seen a guy so fired up to speak as he did on his last day at the rally. Just basically, he was just on fire. I watched his speech, and he's just, suckers. He called them suckers in France, and he was so animated and angry. And then when you see him like a month before, during the debate, he's like, is this live? Like, he was not there. And then his wife had to help him off the stairs. He's just old. And then who I saw at the rally, that didn't look like him. It looked like him. Sure didn't seem like, it seemed like a younger Joe. It seemed like a Joe from 8 years ago. Fiery. He could tell jokes. He was lively. I think he only flubbed up once majorly and quickly got out of that. Other than that, spoke normal. And then Obama, I watched Obama's message, and I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, Obama's probably the greatest speaker there ever was. Tell me there's somebody that's better than Barack Obama at speaking. Tell me, name somebody in the comments that you think could go toe to toe with Barack Obama and speak better than he can. He had the crowd. He was funny. He was serious. Could throw jokes at himself, at the crowd. I'm telling you, that speech alone could push them over the edge to make people go, who cares about how silly Kamala Harris is? All they remember is Barack Obama. And I'm telling you, if you're not prayed up when you watch his speech, you'll be like, wait a minute. Democrats are way better. Like, you could be swayed easily is what I'm trying to say. The same thing happened with Zelensky. I prayed before every one of his speeches for the Lord to protect my mind. And everybody's giving him a standing O. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How much money do you want in Canada? 640 million? Sure. No receipt. Go ahead. It's fine. I know we have a homeless problem here and there across Canada. I know things are tight. I know there's inflation, but go, Zelensky. Go, 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 go. We'll deal with this. Go, you go. Here's a check. Go, get out of here. I get tired of that stuff. People coming to our country asking for weapons to kill people. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't like it. I don't care what you say if it's in the name of peace. Tired of that. Of people saying that. I need a nuclear bomb so that we can have peace. I need all kinds of tanks. I need armor-piercing rounds for peace. It's silly. It's silly. How about no? How about you go back home and how about you negotiate and work out a deal with Putin and figure it out? How about that? Instead of getting egged on by the U.S. to go into war. Like, I don't think anybody wants to go to war in Europe. I just don't. I could be wrong, but I don't think people in North America want to go to war for Zelensky. Sorry, they don't. It's one thing if people are coming to attack your nation, but to go overseas into Ukraine and then start storming Russia? We know how that goes. It's like 0 and 20. Anybody that comes against Russia in the wintertime goes away empty-handed. Think Napoleon. Who's the other guy? Hitler. They tried it. They couldn't do it. Why? It's too much terrain. Too cold. They never read The Art of War. You got to be able to feed your troops. They couldn't do it. Crazy, right? Yeah, it's interesting that you say that with Obama. Like, I don't know who is. I think it's kind of one of those rotating. What would be an illustration of this? Tumblers, basically. That it's almost the same thing when you think about the disciples. If I were to tell you, who do you think was most likely to betray Jesus? Probably 90% of you would say Judas, hands down Judas. Okay, why didn't the disciples know who it was? Why did they have to ask Jesus who the betrayer was going to be? Why? They were all with each other. I think it was because any one of them could have betrayed Jesus Christ. Peter was probably ranked number one as betraying, and then the next in line. He denied Jesus Christ 3 times. So something was in their head that they were very close to forming a coup and going, you know what? This guy may not be the guy that we're hoping for. Why? Because he's telling us that he's going to die. That's not what our Messiah is supposed to do. So Peter decided to pull Jesus aside, and I'm going to tell Jesus a thing or two. Not so, my Lord. It's not going to happen. You, paraphrasing, are the king of Israel. You should be the leader. And Jesus is like, get thee behind me, Satan. You don't know what I'm up to. I have to die. I have to go. When I go, the Holy Spirit's going to come. He's going to remind you of everything that I said, and he's going to teach you all things. And I believe as a Christian, we have the Holy Spirit, and we have an unction in us when something is afoot, when something's up. I'm not saying, thus saith the Lord. I'm just saying, look around. This feels weird. This is weird to have elections coming up this year. Out of all the years, 2024, they're starting to talk about what is it? The furry flu. I'll call it donkey box. Coming down the pipes in Africa, in Congo. I think that's suspicious right there, because if you want people to not go to Congo, I'm not saying people aren't getting sick and people aren't dying. I'm just saying, out of all the places in Africa that you can have that is in Congo, where 80-90% of the chips for electric cars reside. That's where you have to mine these cars. And all these kids are mining all this red cobalt out of Congo. And there's several Chinese companies that are washing the money out of the Congo into China. They're exploiting them. It's horrible. Yeah, that guy's, I don't want to say Yuval Harari is an idiot. I don't want to say that. It's kind of like you did, right? Whenever you say that. Look, I don't want to say you're wrong. You just fill in blanks. I don't want to say he's an idiot, that he's dumb, that he's stupid. He has no idea what he's talking about. I don't want to say that about him. But you can fill in the blanks. I've read his Homo sapiens book. And then he's got a couple other ones. It's stupid. It's stupid. I thought he was smarter than that. He just does this quite a bit. And he gets himself all crazed up. Yeah, the mining's horrendous. And yet we want all these electric cars. And again, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying if someone out there were to give me a Tesla, I'd probably drive it. I probably would. But there's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about, and I don't think we want to know, honestly. I think we'd rather take the blue pill and go back to sleep. I really do. I do. Don't you guys think that way? I do. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I just turn a blind eye to some of this stuff because it seems really, it's kind of weird. It feels like people aren't telling us the truth. So, yeah, am I an expert? No, I'm not an expert. Am I a prophet? Nope. Just trying to figure this out just like you guys. Just like you guys. There's only a couple things that I know for sure. I know that I don't know when I expire here on Earth. I don't know when my last day is. I don't. Even though I've had a dream about it, but I don't know. I had a dream about my funeral. Isn't that weird? Out of all the things that you can dream about, you dream about your funeral. It's kind of weird. But I didn't want to, when I was in this dream, I didn't want to look around to see who was at my funeral. I didn't even want to see how I had died in the dream. I'm like, no thanks. Went up to heaven, which is interesting. And I had a new body. Right away, how do I know? Because I felt it. I was like pulling on the skin. I'm like, ooh, this is pretty cool. And I'm floating up to heaven in water. I know, it's weird, right? Anyways, the point is, we don't know when we're going to die. We don't know. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow. It could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year, 10 years. I could live to be like 120. Or according to Yuval Dum Dum, 686 with all parts, moving parts, machine, where you're just basically hooked up to a computer. It's not really living in my books. If you got all these electrical devices all around you, it's not really living in my books. Yeah, it's interesting, right? All right. Let's see here. Lithium mining is bad for the environment. Yeah, so much for the Green Deal. Where is Greta Thunberg? She should live in the Congo. Go there. I would pay. I would start a GoFundMe for Greta to go to the Congo, and I would give her a box of toothpicks. Huh? A box of toothpicks, Shane? Why would you give Greta a box of toothpicks? Because I would want her to open her eyes and see that she's being lied to right in front of her as she watches 5-year-olds mining for cobalt, getting sick. I would want her to see that. Then go to the UN and say, how dare you? How dare you allow children to mine for cobalt while you sleep in your electric cars? Where is she? Where'd she go? I thought you were a spokesperson. Came to Canada somehow mysteriously overnight. That must be a fast boat to get you from Europe all the way to Canada in time for our elections so that you could speak at our parliament, outside our parliament. Wow, that's an amazing boat. You can get right across Canada, one boat. I'm back. Hey, Joshua Alexander Brown, Colleen, welcome. Too many people are uninformed. Yep. Don't want to go back into the matrix. Well, you're in it. You're in it, my friend. Right here, this one. Boom. I was born with my eyes open. Never been able to turn it off. That's a good one. It's good. Let's see here. Transhumanism reminds me of the Borg and Star Trek. That's right. You know, I always thought they should make a TV series on the Borg with Captain Picard leading the way. Just make a whole series. Just even if it's a younger digital version of Jean-Luc Picard, he could still act and everything. Just make him, because think about it, he's in the Borg. But just make it like 6 seasons or something, and just have it all about Picard with the Borg taking out all these planets and all this stuff. I think that would be a good story. Instead, they just kind of did it. Just one, I think it was just one episode or something. But 6 seasons of Jean-Luc Picard going against the United Federation, that is something I would pay to watch. Lots of missing children. Yep. Uh-oh. How you doing, extra player? What the heck is going? Papa John David. All right, so wasn't too bad tonight. I didn't go too conspiracy. I was just saying, isn't it kind of weird that all these big trains are going by? The timing of them, it's kind of weird. No cars in them. If I saw cars in them, then I'd be like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. You're stacking 3 layers of cars, but they were all empty. So I don't know, are they doing a test run across Canada just to see how long it would take them to transport people from Newfoundland all the way to the coast and then off to China? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Crazy. Anyways, that's pretty much all I got for you tonight. That's all the conspiracies I have. So hopefully this channel doesn't get banned tomorrow. I didn't do so bad. I didn't go crazy. It's just more asking the questions. That's all. What's located? Yeah, probably shelters, all kinds of stuff. Is Iran afraid? I don't know. It's kind of interesting. You think about Iran, like I know friends that are from Iran, and they're like, oh, you got to go. It's so beautiful there and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, but what about all the stuff we see in the news? And they're like, yeah, well, that's the news for you. It's beautiful there. It's like paradise. It's like, what? Don't you guys have like a desert? It's like these people are smart. They have doctors. They have people that are highly educated, wanting to not only move to the U.S., because, yeah, there is some bad political powers there, but they love their homeland as well. Just like any country. We have so many Ukrainians coming over here, replacing Canadians with jobs. I'm not talking about the homegrown Ukrainians. I'm talking about the Ukrainians from Ukraine. They come over here in nice cars, luxury cars, and they all have money. You ever notice that? They work at the lowest paying jobs and they have cash, and they're all teachers, and they all have huge pensions or whatever it is. I've met a lot of them, and it's suspicious. They're nice people, but it's suspicious to me because they're everywhere. I even ran into a guy at work, a place I used to work at, and I said, I dropped a box of chips. Can you get me another, or a box of chips is missing. It fell off the cart or whatever. Could you replace it? And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'm sorry, I will get you another case. I'm like, you don't even speak English? No, I don't speak English. I came from Ukraine. Oh, isn't that interesting? You can't speak one word and you're here. Okay. And you just replaced a bunch of people at work. Huh. I didn't know that was that easy. And you don't need money. No, none. Taken care of. Our government takes care of us. Interesting. Because I know I have a lot of friends that are looking for work. A lot of friends that have had a tough time. Some friends years to find a job. And you get people coming over that they're in and they got a job right away. I hope you're not going to call me a racist now towards Ukraine. It's kind of weird, isn't it? White people being racist towards white people. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I'm just more thinking about jobs. Like, how do you transition a person so quickly that doesn't speak any English and just come in and you get a job right away on day one? How does that work? When everyone else has to have a resume, 2 or 3 references, experience, all kinds of stuff. It's weird. It's just weird. What else we got here? The trains was from America's beginning. All country songs was about trains. Yeah, I agree. Because I think the biggest race was to not just to get land, but the race was to go from coast to coast with trains for Canada and the US, because that's kind of like your border. Heavy duty bunker busters penetrate deep. Yep. Papa John's on fire tonight. Okay, down here in southern Texas, they're barely using trains just like they did last year. One of the things we did import from Mexico is coming by a big truck. I don't know if that's how you speak in Texas, but I'm a Canadian, so I don't know how Texans get. I don't know. I'm probably just butchering you guys. I'm racist against Americans now, all of a sudden. Let's see here. What's Jeremiah? Elam destroyed the part of Iran's housing nuke facilities would seem to be fulfilled. I guess I just thought maybe they didn't have nuclear bombs and stuff, but yeah, sure, okay. I know a lot of people, like so many Americans, are just like, Damascus has to get destroyed, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Turkey, like all those places got to be destroyed. And I don't know, it's just weird. Like, you don't really see too much of the US in the Bible. You see a lot of Egypt, you see a lot of Syria, you see a lot of Turkey in the Bible, you see a lot of Israel in the Bible. You don't see a lot of the United States, and you don't see any Canadians in the Bible. That's interesting. Torah. Warren Buffett said most of train stock sold. I didn't know that. Serious? Really? Is that truthful? Really? Because that is something, if that's what he did, because he would never do that. Never. So if he's selling, it just doesn't seem like, I've read all his books. He doesn't do that. He doesn't sell all his stock. In fact, he has a rule with his company that if you buy one of his stocks, you keep it forever. You don't sell it ever. Forever. You just keep it. Don't sell. So I appreciate you saying that, but I'd have to see some datum to prove that, because that's not what's in his books. Let's see here. But with the precious blood of Christ, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. Nice verse. Awesome. Great verse. All right, what else? Did I miss anything? I like the Borg idea. I like that. I thought that would have been a great series. Captain Picard leads the charge with the Borg. I don't think I have very many Trekians on this channel tonight. That's something I grew up with my dad, myself, watching Trek all the time. 6 o'clock, Captain Kirk. Always at 6 o'clock every day, almost around the dinner table. Ooh, what's going to happen to Captain Kirk tonight? He's going to get something. can get either Klingon, something's going to happen to him, or he's going to get captured, or he's going to get a woman, a girlfriend by the end of the episode. He was always after the alien chicks. Always. It's crazy, right? Yeah, I don't know. I should ask my mom. I don't think my mom likes Star Trek. I think she put up with it. I don't think she likes Star Trek. She likes more movies, comedies, all that kind of stuff. Serious movies. But yeah, my dad liked Star Trek. We lined up outside. Had two dads, by the way. My biological, my stepdad. But my stepdad basically raised me. Frenchman. And we went to Empire Strikes Back, and we had to line up for blocks outside. And then when we got to the front, it was sold out. Horrible time for a child. Horrible to have to line up again. It's crazy. If I had a time machine, I would have went back in time, and I would have walked up and down that aisle going, Darth Vader's Luke's father. Darth Vader's Luke's father. We want to talk about riots. That would have been crazy. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. And I'm just going to get my my DJ to cue the music. And I'll see you guys in another video. Bye for now. You know, I love Gilligan's Island. I used to watch that show every single night. I think it came on at 5 o'clock, Star Trek at 6, 4:30 or 4 o'clock was Hercules, then The Amazing Spider-Man, then Gilligan's Island, and then there was a half an hour break with probably, what was on from 5:30 to 6. Can't remember if it was Price is Right or something. I don't know. And then Star Trek would come on, and then Happy Days at Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Happy Days, and then of course Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights. $6 Million Man. Spider-Man would come on at 10 o'clock on Wednesday nights, which was horrible because I used to scream in my bed yelling at my parents saying, I want to watch Spider-Man. And they'd yell back at me, go to sleep. Hopefully my mom isn't watching. I think I traumatized my mom way too much. Beverly Hillbillies. I didn't get into that one too much, but I watched a lot of it. Flintstones I watched. I think I memorized just about every episode because that would come on every day at 12 o'clock. And then actually that came on after school. That one might have been at 4:30 as well. Twice a day. And then I'd watch pro wrestling, of course, at 11 o'clock on Saturday mornings. And then I'd wrestle with my brothers, trying to pile drive everybody. In the bed, on the floor. We'd have wrestling matches. We'd film each other. I'd always be the Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. We had fun. Torturing each other. Fun times. And then Sunday nights when I was really young, used to I couldn't wait for what are they called? The Tabernacle Choir. Man, that was just like pulling teeth out listening to the Tabernacle Choir, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Why? Because I wanted to watch Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald Duck at 6. And then you had to watch Hillsongs. No, it wasn't Hillsongs. Hymn Sing. You wonder how I got all that stuff in my head. I used to watch a lot of TV, folks. Gomer Pyle. Yeah. What did he say? Well, golly. Gomer Pyle. I guess he could sing really well. After the show, they would always have records or cassettes of, what was his name? What was the guy Gomer Pyle's real name? Adams? Jim Adams? What was Gomer Pyle's real name? I want to say it's Jim Adams. Confident. Are you confident with that? Yes. Jim Adams, Gomer Pyle. Don't know. But anyways, he was a pretty good singer. But yeah, you name a TV show, I watched it. I'm sure I did. And I could tell you what day it was on. Crazy, right? Jim Neighbor. Oh, that's what it is. Great show. You know, since we're on TV shows, I have a solution. I know how to solve crime in North America. I could solve crime. If you think Trump can solve a war overnight, I can solve crime tomorrow. You know how I would do it? I would bring a big TV screen into the prison, and I would say something like, so, you are into crime, are you? You guys are into crime? Okay, I got something for you. That's my nasty German scientist, evil scientist, because Germans are always evil, right? Evil scientists. I would bring on the big screen and I would turn it on, and then I would have Barney playing over and over again. I love you. You love me. Over and over again. And I'm telling you, if you want to solve a crime, these criminals will sing like canaries. They'll be like, he did it. They did it. We did it. I did it. Please stop Barney. Please. Mercy. I plead for mercy before the court. Do not play Barney. Please. Don't do it. Don't hook me up to a chair and play Barney and Friends over and over again. Please. And don't play Elmo, brush, brush, brush my teeth. Brush, brush, brush your teeth. Because that song will drive anyone crazy. I listen to it every single day while my daughter brushes my grandson's teeth. And I'm mesmerized. I can't look away when Elmo's singing the song. Brush, brush, brush your teeth. Brushing, brushy, brushy, brushy mouth. I'm like, I can't look away at Elmo. Anyways. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging around. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you in another video. Bye for now. Don't forget to my DJ. I'm going to fire my DJ. Seriously. Tried to cut me off. Sunday. Is this the end? I'm telling you, man, it's going to be an epic. You don't want to miss Sunday. 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Don't miss it. I'm telling you, don't miss it. Don't miss it. It's on before Hymn Sing and all those other stuff. Watch it. It's going to be good. I'm telling you. See you later.